Alright, hello all. Back at you again with more Arch Linux torture for you. This time in VirtualBox, or again in VirtualBox, and I've already installed Arch Linux and updated it to the latest kernel as of today, January 22nd, 2016. So I assume you already know how to install Arch Linux, and if you're looking at what we're going to look at today, bspwm, you probably know how to install Arch Linux. So an acronym for bspwm, it's a binary space partitioning window manager. To tell you the truth, I'm not sure what that means, but there you have it. It does work. It takes a lot of configuring and a lot of patience and a lot of syntax checking and so on. But the good thing is it's easy enough to install in Arch Linux, and it gives you all of the examples to get you started with a panel and other things that you can add on as you go along. So on the side here, you can see I have a list of Pacman packages to download for functions. Obviously, the window manager itself, the bashrc, which is a keyboard shortcut handler that uses the super key. Terminus font, that seems to be, from what I'm looking at, what I've been looking at as a standard, I guess, for panels. The xset Zorg packages, I'm going to get both of them. I don't know if you need both of them. That's for the cursor because it's just an X. If you don't like that, you can change it. dmenu, you probably know what that is. I use it on my desktop here. Just window key space. For example, you can any keyboard combination and start typing in Firefox or something, and press enter, and obviously it'll bring up Firefox and so on. For a terminal, the default in the keyboard shortcut is the URXVT, but I'm going to get termite. I like that, actually. It's kind of neat. I'm going to try standalone tray, I guess, standalone tray, and as opposed to tray, or either one you can use for system tray. And Arch Linux user repository packages. Pretty much, if you don't get these, you won't be able to use the, I believe you won't be able to use the, what's called the lemon bar, or the panel, usually at the top. Okay, so that's a lot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to download these packages, and I'll come back when for more torture and the configurations. Okay, I'm going to change horses at midstream here, and just address the xinit.rc file, and we'll just start up the bspwm window manager as is without any other things installed. So it's optional. You can copy the xinit file from the X11, Etsy X11, or you can make your own. Either just nano and then .xinit.rc, or you can do something like touch .xinit.rc and then nano that. It'll be just a blank text document. And just to get started, I'll scroll down here to where it has. You just type in sxhkd for the keyboard handler and exec bspwm. Okay, that's all you do, and you just type in start x. So sx hkd, and don't forget to put the ampersand there, the and symbol, and exec bspwm. Write that out and exit, and then type start x. There we go. That's it. There's nothing there, but that's the window manager. Obviously, it changed size. To get out of here, by default in the keyboard, it's Control-Alt-Escape. The problem is I haven't created the directory, so I can't do that. I just wanted to show you that you can get it to run, but without a keyboard, of course. So in VirtualBox, you get into trouble like I just did. Right control on your keyboard and F2, and log in as your user and just issue a sudo pkill x. There we go. Okay, so let's copy. Actually, you have to make a couple of directories. If you do an ls-la, you can see there's an X authority has been created just because I just started an X service, but other than that, there's not much in here. So we have to create a .config folder along with the two folders, bspwm and the keyboard one. So when you first initialize, you don't have anything else installed. You have to mkdir, make a directory, a -p .config, and then /bspwm. And we'll do the same for the keyboard, but we don't need the P anymore. So this is such a weird SXK. It's hard to say too for me. HKD. Double check that. Yeah. Okay. And as I said, in Arch Linux, there's examples already for you in the documentation. So you just do a cp usr share doc bspwm examples and then bspwm rc file to .config bspwm. And we do the same thing for the keyboard file sxhdrc to the directory. Okay. Now let's issue start X one more time. Oh dear, I'll just type that in, start X. Okay, still nothing. However, the keyboard should work. So window key, super key, alt, the window key with the Windows logo. In my case, it's the right one. So super, alt, escape. Now we know the keyboard's working. Okay, I'm going to download termite instead of the the UX, the RX VT terminal. So sudo pacman -s termite, and this will pull in a lot of stuff. Most terminals will, the XFT terminals, and termite's really great. So I'll just let that download and install and be back. Okay, that's been installed. I don't know if I can page up far enough, but it does. There it is. There. I can't really highlight it right here. Poll kit. That'll allow me to just type in reboot or power off without having to type in sudo. Big deal, but it does work. So instead of the XRVT terminal, we're going to use termites. So we'll just nano .config the sxhdrc rc file, page down near the bottom, and super return is urxvt. We're going to just change that to termite. Write out and exit. Let's try start X. Alt super enter. There we go. That's our termite terminal. And the super key S to make that a smaller size. And to move the windows like this around is the super key and left mouse button. To resize is the super and left. Okay. Now, if you want it to show up like this instead of this, you have to edit your bspwrc file. So I don't have a GUI text editor yet, so just nano.config bspwmrc, and there's rules here. And these are just predefined rules. It's pretty cool, actually. The way it works is you can have programs to launch on another desktop, another workspace, or whatever. And as you can see, there's a lot of workspaces available, 10. And there's examples here. So in Nano, you press Alt-6. That'll copy a line. And I'll just press Enter. And Control-U will paste that in. So we have two lines the same, but instead of mplayer2 floating equals on, I'm going to type in termite floating equals on. Write that out and exit. And Control D to close the terminal, or Control W, or Win key W, super key W, and Win Alt Escape. And start X. There we go. So it doesn't appear like this. It's more like this. That's your, that's up to you if you want to have it that way. All right. Okay, so a few more programs I'm going to get. I want to get the font and the other stuff I mentioned. So I'll get that through here, and I'll be back in a second. All right, so those are installed, and just take this just a little bit at a time and just add parts and just relax. It's only software, okay? It's no big deal, and especially if you're in VirtualBox, there's hardly anything, no harm done. For termite, there is a configuration file. If you use mlocate, you might have to update the database. So I'm going to do a locate termite. Yeah, it hasn't found it. So sudo update db. We'll just run that again. There it is. So we're going to make another directory in our config folder, mkdir.config termite. And then we'll just copy etc xdg termite config to dot config termite. And there's a couple things you can do. So nano.config termite config. All right. You can change the cursor shape. Default is block. I like to use underline, so you just type that in. I'm going to use Firefox. I'm not sure. I think it's so you can maybe clickable links in Firefox. I'm not sure about that. Let's go back up a bit. I'm going to change the font size to monospace, say 12 instead of 9. And, oops, sorry. And we'll go down to, where is it? Background somewhere. I'm going to make it all black. So 6 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that's good enough for now. So write that out and exit, and Control D to kill the terminal and bring it back up with super enter. There we go. Font's a bit larger. And it's black. All black. No transparency. Also, you might want to get your XDG user directories. So it's pacman-s, sudo pacman-s, xdg-user-dirs, and then we just run the command and it'll print, it'll make your documents and all that kind of stuff for you. So you just xdg-user-dirs, press tab, and then update, and ls, and there's your documents, downloads, music, and all that kind of stuff. Now for a system tray, I think I downloaded, yeah I did, the standalone tray, but there's nothing I had to show. So I'm just going to get something like Parcelite, or whatever. And I'm not very familiar with this tray. So stay Stallone. There it is. And okay, well, it does show something that it's there. So, and this is what we have to do. We have to make an RC directory or just copy it over. So again, locate, if you have that, mlocate Stallone tray. There it is. Whoops. There's no right click copy, so you have to press highlight it and Control Shift C, and then copy Control Shift V to that STALONERC. Okay, so it's not complaining that it didn't find a config file. So let's launch parcel it with an ampersand. And there it is. Now we have something to show in the tray. Okay, so we can add those two files to our xinit.rc. So nano.xinit.rc, and just press enter, parcel, and don't forget to put the N on these, and because the whole thing come crashing down on you. Tray. So there we go. Again, you got to be careful of the syntax, and I don't know why that's so large, but whatever. I'm sure the RC file has hints on how to make that smaller and hopefully move it down to the bottom. Okay, so I just commented out those two just for now because I want to move on to the fun stuff. The panel. We have to get some Arch Linux user repository packages, xtitle, sutils, and lemon-bar xft. So I'll just download those through Yowart. Have an alias Yowart-s capital S xtitle sutils. Oh, that's xtitle dash git jit sutils and lemon just a lemon bar xft git. Make sure those are right. Yep, okay. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I'm gonna get LeafPad, I think, just so you can see a little better than in Nano. And we also have dmenu, which is super, by default, it's a super key in space. So LeafPad, there we go. Alright, so we have to edit our bashrc. Well, documentation and lots of other places say to edit your profile. I don't have one by default, and I found the bashrc method works. So you have to add these two lines in for our panel at the top. So LeafPad, or I have it, LeafPad. I don't want to get you too confused. Bashrc .bashrc. All right. So resize this a bit. And I already have a couple of exports here. So I'll just at the end enter a couple of times. I can't copy and paste yet, so I have to type that in manually. Export panel in capital letters, underscore, file in, file out, or whatever that is. I can't remember. Equals /tmp panel FIFO and export path equals, should zoom in, $, capital letters again, colon, /home, your username, and I'm going to use, documents, just for an example. You don't have to. And panel, which I'm going to copy that over to. That should help us with running the default panel from the example documents. Okay, so you save, exit, and resource your .bashrc. Okay, so more copying from our directory. So this here copy -r usr share doc bsp examples panel to what I specified in the bashrc for that to run. Okay, and I shouldn't have, well, it doesn't matter. cp-r usr tab completion is bash completion tab is so handy. usr share doc examples, nope, bspwm examples panel to, let's see, tilde/documents. All right, and we'll leaf pad our dot config bspwmrc file. At the bottom here, I'll just type enter once and type in panel and save and quit. And let's log out. See if anything's happening. Okay, it didn't work. There we go. Now it's running. So it just took some time. I'm not sure. I think you have to log out for the file in, file out temp directory to work, I think. But as you can see, there's a panel now, and since I have this terminal open, it shows up. And to change to different workspaces, you can either use the super key and a number 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 10. I don't know how long. Or the parentheses on your keyboard to go back and forth. So if you want to launch something on another desktop, you edit your bspwrc file. Say if you want, sometimes it's case sensitive. I'm going to install Firefox, so it'd be Firefox, capital F Firefox, and I'll take this example, desktop equals a caret 2, which would be on the workspace too, basically. Paste that in. Okay, so save and quit, and of course I have to install Firefox. Okay, so let's fire up Firefox. Okay, so if you look, it's not so obvious. Is the tray? I'm sorry, the tray. The panel, top panel, the colors change slightly. So super key and 2. As I mentioned, you can get it to launch on a different workspace, which it just did. Okay, so there's another example of this window manager, tiling window manager. And from here on, let's if you don't like this X cursor, you can change it so it's just whatever the default is. So you just add this exactly as it is. I know it's a little weird. It says xset root. That's why I downloaded the package. Dash cursor name. You don't put a cursor name. You just, this is what you actually type in. Okay. Again, I have to type that in. I haven't. I'm not sure if share clipboard will work in this or not. But anyway, leafpad.xinit rc, and I don't think you have to put an ampersand. So xset root 1 dash cursor underscore name left as usual. Most of the time, I maybe right for, I don't know, ptr pt save and exit. Let's kill our X session and see what happens. There we go. So just put that in your xinit rc and you have a normal cursor. Or just not put that in if you like the X. You notice our panel doesn't show up all the time, so open a terminal, pkill. I'm not sure why this is happening. And just run panel and it should show up. There we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, there's lots of configuration files all over the place. They're usually in what has been called dot files. And here's one example out of, I don't know how many lots, is if you look at the bin, there's a dmenu sh, and this is it gives the D menu a little more color and stuff. So all you have to do is, I think I can copy and paste from within the window manager. Copy. Let's open the text editor just to make sure I can copy that. Yep. So I'm gonna wrap the word wrap, and probably want it launching at the bottom. So just tack on a -B. Okay. And the name of it is, the actual name of the file is dmenu.sh. So I'll just copy that name, save, and just Control H in our config bspwm folder. Paste that in, save, close that, close the browser, and go back to our first window if you want, whatever, it doesn't matter. Config bspwm, so let's do an LA. So we have to chmod that D menu, so chmod plus X D menu. Okay, so it won't work until we edit their keyboard function. So leafpad.config sx and the rc file, and where it has D menu, right here, it says super space D menu. You have to put in a path like tilde /.config /bspwm /d menu. I'm going to spell that right. dmenu .sh. Save. Close. And I think to reload the keyboard, it's super key and escape. So let's see if that works. There we go. Our D menu is now at the bottom here, as you can see. So I type in something like Firefox. It'll show up on desktop workspace or desktop too. But it does look a little better, I think. So that's an example of pulling in configuration files, and there's many examples, and there's other ways you can have clickable spaces and resizing the window from clicking, so clickable panels and stuff. And if you want to change this date, it's in where I copied the panel. So just change directory documents, panel. Not sure which one it is. LeafPad panel. There it is. Clock. If you want a 12-hour, just change the H to a capital I. And if you want to have seconds, you put a colon, a %S. And if you want PM, AM, PM, usually this works, is percent, and a small p without the colon. Save and close. So I'm going to p-kill the panel. And restart. Give it a second to fire up. And there we go. So it's showing the date, and the seconds don't seem to be moving. Wait a second. Oh, yeah, it's working. Okay. So from there you can get, if you use VirtualBox or whatever, you can get nitrogen or whatever for desktop background. You can get PCman FM, or you can get something as minimal as Ranger, which I don't know a lot about, but it is pretty neat. If you want to cut down on the resources for some reason, and just run it, Ranger. There you go. It opens up in your default home folder, and arrow keys back and forth to or whatever. I guess you press enter, and there you go. Press enter and it'll use whatever's in your bashrc, I would imagine, for your text editor such as LeafPad. Okay, so pretty cool stuff. So that should do for this one. I hope that I hope this helps you out, and there's enough information to get your own BSP window manager working on Arch Linux, either through VirtualBox or on your main system. As I said, it is quite lightweight. Lightweight, and for Ranger, by the way, it is just Q to quit. And let's take a look at our free. Okay, 203 megs. That probably in a cold boot, it's around 50 or 60 megabytes. Okay, so I hope I haven't forgotten anything. If I have, please let me know, and I hope this works for you, and have fun with this, and let me know how it does, and maybe share your thoughts, your scripts, or whatever for this. There's a lot more to this, obviously, but I think this should be enough to get you started. So that's it for this one, and thank you so very much for watching, and we'll talk to you soon, and bye for now.